Hey everybody, welcome to this week's layout update. I'm out here with my newest Great Dane. I want to introduce you to Cash. Come here. Cash just turned 2 years old. He is nice and healthy. He's put on about 20 pounds since we got him. And if you remember when I talked about it a couple weeks ago, I was talking about how emaciated he was. And, he won't want to cooperate. But as you can see, he is filled out. You can no longer see his ribs or his vertebrae. Back here in the back room, and he is looking really healthy, and he's really happy, super happy, which makes me super happy as well. So let's talk about a few projects, and I'll run you around the layout. I have another Atlas locomotive that I'm putting DCC into, and I've never seen a motor like this. So this is the third one in 3 weeks. Each one has a different motor configuration, so come back on Thursday and check this one out. But look at the detail. This guy put a lot of work into this. You got all the grabs on there. You got ditch lights. You got the cut lever, MU cables, all kinds of stuff. So this is a pretty cool model. So come back on Thursday and check that one out. I have not done anything to these 4 locomotives that I painted up. I've just been busy with other stuff and running trains around and getting stuff out of the way. And you're probably wondering why getting stuff out of the way. Well, I'll show you in a second. So, update on these two MRC Lima Alco C420s. If you remember, I've been talking, probably 2 months now about I ordered these wheels from Northwest Shortline. Really, I don't have anything good to say about the experience, to be honest. They finally came after they got lost in the mail for a month. Now, that was not their fault. I got that. That's the post office fault. I understand that 100%. But from when I ordered them to when they shipped them was 5 weeks, maybe even 6. And then they got lost for a month and then they showed up. So this is the 24th. So this has been a process that got started on January the 3rd. So I'm not saying don't order from them, but I will tell you this. I got an email the other day in reply to one of my emails that said they are understaffed. Please have patience with them. They'll get to the email as soon as possible. And that was that. So that will be a project that will be one of the Thursday videos here in the next, I don't know, maybe a month or so, because I'd like to have DCC in at least one of them before the open house to run around the layout, but we'll see. All right, you are going to enjoy this part. Now, I'm not going to enjoy the comments, but I'm going to show you what I have done. So if you remember, I put mortar on this piece of wood to represent blasted rock. It looked it looked bad. It looked really bad. And then I went through and I put another coat on there, and then I put all these rock castings on there. Stop. And then I went through and I painted it. And okay, now I'm gonna tell you, before you start criticizing, you have to remember there's going to be literally a mountain on the backside. So it's not, the straight edge will be camouflaged in with the rest of the scenery. So this is one piece of the puzzle. But I think it looks pretty good with the paint that I've done. I put just a little bit of green on the top to take away that edge just a little bit when I put the rest of the mountain ridge behind it. And I'm liking it. I'm really liking it. I think this is going to work out quite well. And I think it looks good. I think it looks really good. When I'm standing about 3 feet from it, it looks like blasted rock to me. And there's a lot more work to be done to it, but I think it's going to look pretty cool. My wife came out and asked me if I ever make videos of when I'm doing the work, and I said no. And she asked me why not. I said because I'm really afraid it's going to look like crap, and I don't want any evidence of it, because if it looks bad, I'm not going to show you in the video. All right, sorry about that. I got sidetracked by the dog. I was getting ready to paint all this rail over here, but I just didn't get around to it. I am seriously thinking about taking the belt line and connecting it into the Pensy line over here. Kind of show you my thought process. Oh, that's tight. So I got these lines on there to kind of represent where it was supposed to go. I got this old turnout that I was just going to cut up and kind of throw out here for the scene as like scrap. But I was kind of thinking about running this track around parallel to the main line here, and maybe putting in a left-hand turnout right in this area. And then it would basically run right here up to this white depot and then curve around. And I'm still debating on that because I think it would be really cool to have maybe a transfer freight come off the Pensy, take the belt line over to little belt line yard, and then go into the Allegheny Midland yard over here. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. Let me know what you think. I also came through and redrew some lines here. You can see one here and one here. This is the yard lead. I got the angle just right. I had to buy a couple turnouts up here and put them in place to, draw the line and make sure it was right. This is the house track, and this is the belt line right here. That's the belt line yard. I started working on it. I've extended it about 2 feet. Over here, there is a diamond, and I gotta finish drawing my line so I can calculate the angle and buy me a diamond crossover here. And then number 10 track of the yard will be right here. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. And then literally where I'm standing right here, there's a piece that goes on, which I believe is right there, that will have the turntable and engine house and probably maybe a little car repair shop on the back side. But this whole piece here will sit roughly from here to here and then tie back in somehow on each side. I haven't figured all that part out. But it still gives me, I think that's 2.5 feet wide, and that will still give me about 4 feet from here to about right here where it'll sit. So I got plenty of room for operators to walk around, and no one's gonna be bumping into each other. One thing I did when I designed this layout was, even though I could have made it a lot bigger by putting in a couple more peninsulas, I could have gained a lot more trackage. I even thought about doing a double deck layout with a helix at each end, but I really was thinking, I got a large room back here. This is the size of a house. It's 1,700 square feet. I think the very first house I bought was 1,700 square feet, and I don't remember it being this big. But I wanted plenty of room so that if I had operators, during an operating session, people weren't bumping into each other. I wanted really wide walkways, between, the layout sections, so that, you just don't knock stuff off. I've seen a lot of layouts that were crammed into a small space, and you really only had about 2.5 feet to walk through some places. And the only real narrow place to walk is right here through this door. And this is about maybe 2.5 feet right here. And the only real problem is right here. I extended this out so I could put a ramp on here. And Dwight and myself, we both walk through here and hit our shoulders on this corner all the time. It's pretty solid, but at some point, it'll probably get broke off. But let's go back over here. So I don't know if anybody else has been watching basketball, but that's all I did over the weekend was watch basketball. I hope your teams won, and if they didn't, I'm sorry. And just want you to know, my teams did. I always root for Duke because I've been a Duke fan since I was 16. I always root for University of Illinois because I grew up in Illinois, only about 45 minutes from the University of Illinois. My grandfather worked there, as a matter of fact. And I got a couple of teams that I root for, but mostly Duke. And usually I root for the underdogs in the the first week of the tournament. And then we get to Sweet 16, and then most of the games I don't care about. I just try to figure who's going to play Duke, who's going to beat Duke, or try to beat Duke, and we'll figure it out from there. But I've been loving watching some basketball. So until the NCAA tournament is over with, you will not have a Sunday video. It'll just be Monday videos and Thursday videos. And everything else. So why am I showing you this? Because I painted all this main line and the Hudson line and the main line right there. I still got to pull this out and put the ties in. I mean, that really sucked. So I just put it back in and made videos with it and tested it, but I got to finish that. Before I glue all these mountains in place, I need to put the ballast on the rails. And so I will ballast the main line. The main line on the right there will get a mixture of like gray and a little bit of, black cinders put in there, probably like a medium blend. And then the track on the left will probably look like main line as well till you get to the bridge. And then on the other side of the bridge, it'll probably be mostly cinders. Maybe more black with the gray or something like that. Because I want this little line to the left that goes to Hudson 2 to look more like main line, just for photographs. Then, I want to, I guess, differentiate it from the yard tracks there, Hudson 1. Come back here to Hudson 2. Hudson 2 is off to the side. I painted all this track here on the number 2 track. That's the one on the right there. And took it around the curve. Quite a ways up there. Even though you're not going to see it, but I think I went up there maybe a couple of feet, maybe where that first tree is at. And what I need to do now is come through here and paint this main line right in the middle. And but that may wait a little bit, because I got to solder some track. I got to put some power drops in, and I just want to make sure that I don't have to move anything, adjust anything, or anything like that. Because once you paint the ribbon rail or the flex track, if you move it, you got those little silver dots, where the tie clips are at and everything. But I'll be working on that here soon too. So I mean, I should have this all cleaned off here in a day or so. I'm really wanting to paint green on this wall here, because I want to be able to take photographs of Hudson 2 with a green background, so I can do some sky background above that and put a little detail in there. Envisioning some sort of like a little mountain type right here. And then I think I'm going to just put a bunch of trees, maybe a little bit of foam here, but mostly trees here to separate the main line and Hudson tracks, and be at the taller trees so you can't really see on the other side. This thing here that I was playing around with, I was about to throw it away, and I thought, wait a minute, it might fit right here. So I'm going to trim it up, and it'll fit over here, and I still got room for the little road on there, and it'll help block, the view a little bit if you're down low taking pictures. Because as I'm designing my layout, I want to be able to photograph my layout. And I cannot stand when someone has a beautiful layout and they just have tracks stacked up next to each other. Howard Zane has a beautiful layout, but you'll have a 2-foot deep section of it with, main line after main line after main line, all stacked up about 6 inches apart, like stacked up like this. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go watch one of his videos, or go to Al Polisi Trains or something like that. And he's always at Howard's house doing stuff. So, but beautiful layout. I'm not knocking the layout. I just don't like the idea of having, a ton of tracks that are visible all right next to each other in a scene, even though in some places that's probably prototypical, but I'm just not trying to go for that. So I'm trying to separate everything, at least with trees, so visually when you come down to railfan perspective and take pictures, you won't see the other trains on the other tracks, if, one's going by. But yeah, we'll see how that works out. Really happy with the way this turned out. I haven't done anything else with it. It looks really good. Probably the best job I've done so far. And even though the grass is like going down, to me it just looks like it was a flood, and it kind of follows the contours of the embankments there. And I think it's going fine. I think it's just fine. So I think this is going to make a good looking scene with some steam locomotives or something on there. We'll see. Now, the biggest things I've been working on, which I've been working on quite a bit, but so these abutments in this little short fill section on each side of this girder bridge, and the abutment in the middle. So I stacked up a bunch of foam side by side, glued it to my piece of wood down here, which is my spacer on the bottom. Cut it, after the glue dried, of course, cut it all to kind of match the contours of the abutment there and everything. And then I put this rock there. I thought that looked really good, so I like the way that's looking. And then I just got to kind of work on the scenery from this part back. I carved into the side over here just a little bit to kind of match. I think it looks pretty decent. You know, I built this center section. I had to cut it to height and paint it, and it actually worked out quite well. I'm surprised I didn't have any big issues with it. And then I went and I did the same thing on this side. So this part is starting to come together. So this whole little scene here is going to get some love. I am not anticipating any water down here at all. I may carve it out and just have it look like a swamp or something like that. Maybe a bunch of weeds, some rocks or something. I haven't really figured it out, but I'm really kind of watered out, to be honest, with pouring resins. And there's so much prep work to it. And even though I got some pre-mixed resin water stuff by Woodland Scenics, I really don't feel like messing around with carving this out and then, you know, putting a layer of, sculpt a mold or something in there. Even though on this one here, I used a little bit of extra mortar that I had, and I probably can mix up a little bit because I think I got 2 or 3 bags of that stuff left. So I could probably mix up a little bit and coat it with mortar on the bottom and then paint it and everything like I did that culvert. But I'm not quite sure that's what I want to do. So what I'm going to end up doing is just looking at a bunch of pictures and trying to figure it out. And then I got to start working on this back part here. So I got to hide this track, and then I want to do something like this white piece right there, because that's removable. This whole green and brown section is going to be glued in place, but that's going to be able to pop out just in case there's a derailment and I need to get back there. And I need this section to be very similar to that. But I'm also going to do, it'd be more of an angle and probably just a bunch of trees on there and stuff. But we'll see. I might change my mind and come up with a better idea. This part here is going to be angled as well, all the way down. And then I have a whole bunch of rock that will get stacked up all the way to the top with a bunch of like polyfill trees in between. So I think that's going to be a pretty cool looking scene if I can pull it off. So we shall see. Keep coming back and find out. I might ruin it. I think that might be about it. For some reason, I think there's one more thing. I feel like Columbo. If anybody's old enough to remember the Columbo shows where, where he's done talking, he goes, oh, wait, one more thing. Oh, yes, I remember what it is. We'll go down here. So this little scene here between these 2 pieces of wood, this is going to be like a mountain, not really a mountain, a big hill that comes from here down to about right here. So it's going to be pretty steep. All it is going to be is trees and a little bit of rock. Now, the main purpose of these hills here, if you will, is to hide the main line back here. So I'm trying to figure out a way to take these rocks and this rock and stack them in here in a manner in which you will not see the main line back there unless there's a train going across. And that's mainly just to, well, for the operators to make sure that the train's going by and that the caboose is, where it's supposed to be at, or the head ends where it's supposed to be at, and there's no derailments and whatnot. But the whole idea is to make it look like some sort of a runoff draw between 2 hills, going up. So I just have to figure that part out. And in my mind, I can see it. It's just taking that vision in my mind and implementing it into something that is decent, on the layout. But there's always progress being made here. Even when I don't feel like I do a lot, I seem to do a lot. And I get a lot of comments about how much I get done in a week. And I'm going to tell you how much I get done in a week, or how I get so much done in a week. Is I literally will come out here 10 or 15 minutes at a time throughout the day and do something little here and there, here and there, and here and there. Painting and stuff like that, I will do throughout the day as I'm doing about 10 other things. So when you look at all the projects I have lined up and you're thinking, Rob, you're really doing too much. I'm literally waiting on paint and glue to dry and doing something else in the meantime. So at some point, all my projects come to fruition at the same time and everything just gets finished real quick, which is kind of where we're at right now when a lot of things are getting done and all that. But as a retired guy, I don't work. All I do is go to the gym, and when I come back from the gym, I usually take a little nap. And that little nap might be half an hour, might be 2 hours. Today it was 2.5 hours because I was really tired, I guess. And then I usually come out in the training room around 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I work till about 9 o'clock. And I usually work pretty steady. I take a break every hour. I go in and see my wife, check on her, make sure she doesn't need anything. And she never really does. But, you know, if I don't go check on her, you know, she's always out here, what are you doing? Like, what the hell you think I'm doing? Putting together trains, you know, and all that. But I'm probably putting in 7 days, I probably put in 35 hours at least. And there are some days, like if like on a day I don't go to the gym, I could come out here 9 o'clock in the morning and stay out here and work on stuff till midnight. It has happened before. So when you're retired, you have all this time that you can work on it. When you have a 9-to-5 job and you got kids or you got grandkids coming over all the time, you really got to space all that stuff out. So you may not have the same hours of productivity that I have, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this has been my dream ever since I was a kid, to have a giant railroad. And I'm trying to build it as fast as possible. I'm trying to accomplish a lot. And my main goal is to be able to have it mostly done before I'm too old to do anything else. And I want to really be able to enjoy it. So, isn't that what it's all about? So I'm going to leave you right here. I'm going to tell you thank you for watching. I appreciate you listening to my rambles. I appreciate all the comments, and I really enjoy them. I get a lot of good ideas from the comments, so keep them coming in. If you have not subscribed to my channel and you want me to change the name of my channel so you can search for it easier, just subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost any money whatsoever. So I had a friend of mine ask me how much it costs to subscribe. I said, bro, it's free. You just hit subscribe. That's it. You know, I post 2 videos a week. I'm not going to blow up your notifications. You know, I tell you, really, don't even hit that notification thing, because I only post 2 videos a week. I don't do the short videos anymore. I'm over 2,100 subscribers now. And some of the things that I used to do to get subscribers, I really don't feel that I need to do that anymore. And as a money-making venture, short videos, unless you're getting millions of views, don't really make any money. So I think maybe 20 cents is what I made off the last one, off 1,000 views or something like that. So, I mean, I'll do one every now and then, but not very often. Not very often. But so just hit that subscribe. It's right here at the end of the video behind the caboose. And leave a comment, hit like. That's really important because it changes the algorithm and gets the video out there a little bit more. I don't understand all that stuff, but that's what I'm told. And it seems to be accurate when I have, you know, 100, 150 likes or something like that. It seems like the video is, you know, out there a little bit more often. So once again, like, subscribe, comment. Come back on Thursday, check out that Atlas DCC install. That's going to be an interesting one. And I don't know, I guess that's it. Leave a comment. I'll see you then.